strategy we understand, right? We have an opening over here. So we have the 10 a.m. opening in this region. Now prices come inside of this level, and what we're simply waiting for is some kind of an entry model to then take price higher. It's really that simple, right? But what a lot of traders mess up, right? And the reason why they go through all kinds of psychological problems is because they don't even understand what they're looking for. So I'm going to ask you right now, how do you really know what's going on between buyers and sellers, right? You may have an indication, you may know roughly, but I'm going to tell you now, the power of 3 indicator or any fair value gap alone is simply not enough. Right, so here I want to draw your attention to the footprint chart and the order flow chart, right? So what you need to understand as traders is that we've come into the exact same level. You're looking at the exact same candles, the exact same data on ES, but the only difference now is you're able to understand what's going on between the buyers and sellers, right? So just take a look at this price action over here. 5-minute time frame, of course, we've come into the exact same level, and now we're understanding the interaction between buyers and sellers. So the first thing to understand is we have an entire fair value gap here, and the market failed to break below this fair value gap. This is very, very important to understand. Now that we've not broken the fair value gap, you need to understand what's going on inside of every candle, right? So let's just read the order flow kind of line by line. Let's read the most bottom candle. We have 257 for 23. We have 706 for 360, right? 706 for 360. 467 for 92, and all the way at the bottom we have 108 for 0. So just by reading these 2 candles over here, in fact we can do this for a third candle. We have 322 for 98, 159 for 0, and 11 for 0. So we see a ton of negative delta, right? What does negative delta mean? Well, if you flick back to the start of the video, negative delta simply means there's more aggressive sellers than there are aggressive buyers. Now, if you were paying attention to earlier on in the video, I was going to discuss to you that anything on the footprint chart is aggressive participants. These are aggressive sellers in this case, right? We have aggressive sellers, and then we have aggressive sellers. Now we can see the blue delta coming in over here. We can see some blue delta coming in over here. So what the blue delta represents is that we're seeing a shift from aggressive sellers to aggressive buyers. Now I'll put this into context. When we have lots of aggressive sellers inside of a bullish fair value gap, because remember this is a bullish fair value gap over here, right? You can even see from the footprint chart, we have so many aggressive sellers here and we have so many aggressive sellers here. So if we have a lot of aggressive sellers, right? If the volume is telling us that sellers are aggressive, well, what does that mean, right? The volume is corresponding to aggressive sellers. So if aggressive sellers are trying to drive price down, what that means is that there's passive buyers that are popping up in this region, right? So I want traders to understand this in terms of how a level works, how a key level actually works, right? So there's so many aggressive sellers in this region. So now if we